Oh, Rainbow Six Siege, you are my life in a bottle. Or to be exact, you're my teenage life in a bottle. I laughed, I cried, I broke a controller, I screamed, got angry. Whatever emotion you can think of, I was there in Siege. Welcome to Rainbow Six Siege, everybody. Probably the best first-person shooter game I have ever played and ever. 100%, this is the greatest game Ubisoft has ever created in its time. And with this new season, Operation Deadly Omen has definitely brought a lot of great things to this season, along with Deimos, the new rework to Azami's barricades, and shields now bashing through doorways. A lot of great changes have arrived. For a while, the story was obliterated because Ubisoft decided that the old story had no place in Siege. However, with Deimos now in the mix, I can say that Rainbow Six Siege story has finally picked up on the right track. But the real question is Siege still fun after all these years, or has it digressed a lot? Well, let's get those hard breachers on that wall and gun our way straight into this.
Positively movie, so they're like off the shield, dude. I don't think I knew that. Let's go, Minty! Yeah, Minty! Yeah, Minty! No! Minty!
When you think about a tactical first-person shooter game, you're probably thinking about CSGO, but kid you not, Rainbow Six Siege is exactly that. Actually, Rainbow Six Siege wasn't supposed to be Rainbow Six Siege. In 2011, it was announced that Rainbow Six Siege was supposed to be Rainbow Six Patriots, where Rainbow was supposed to be on the offensive against true patriotism in New York. But the game was cancelled for some reason. I've done a lot of diving to try to figure out why the game was cancelled, but to my expectations, I couldn't find anything. So for this moment, it's just going to be a mystery on why the campaign was never released. But it's okay, the multiplayer is a lot of fun. What Ubisoft wanted Rainbow to be was a tactical first-person shooter game, and it definitely nailed in that from the very beginning. However, I will admit, through time, they definitely digressed a little bit on the tactical first-person shooter. Actually, now talking about it, I actually remember in my 8th grade year, I did an essay talking about all the real-life military groups across the globe. I bring this up because Siege was my motivation to make that essay. For those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, Rainbow was supposed to be a private militia that collected the operatives across the globe to bring them all into one banner. What really impressed me at the time was that Ubisoft did the research to make the situation feel real. Rook, Doc, Twitch, Montagne, and Lion, they all come from GIGN, a military group in France that is hellbent on making sure their operatives don't reveal their identity to the enemy. And you can see that in game. Every operative from GIGN never shows their face to the enemy. All you can see is just their eyes and mouth. Jaeger, Bandit, IQ, and Blitz, they come from GSG-9, a police group that is focused on assessing any terrorist groups that are affected in the areas. Pulse, Castle, Ash, and Thermite, they all come from the FBI SWAT. Ella and Zofia comes from Grom, which also originates in Poland. Vigil and Dokkaebi originates from the 707th Special Mission Group, which also is in Korea. Mute, Smoke, Sledge, and Thatcher, they all come from SAS, another division that comes from the United Kingdoms. Doing the research around these groups, it's clear that these guys mean business. Please don't do any TikTok videos around these people.
Let me go ahead.
I just came from the super. Oh, that's not nice. That's not nice.
You're gonna walk out, and you're gonna leave base, or I'm gonna put you in handcuffs and detain you, and then I will turn you over to PG County.
He said that's not nice. What did you expect them to do? Hand you ice cream? Moving on, everything I told you is real. You just have to do enough research to understand it. Except for Nighthaven, Ubisoft is the ones that created them. But hey, I'm totally down for special military forces. On top of that, the guns in the game are beautiful. They sound so clean every time you fire them, and the design are beautiful. Same thing can be said for the gadgets, although I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand some of them. Like, Blitz has a flash beacon on his shield, so every time he runs up to somebody, he just needs to push one button and they are blind, okay? So that's understandable. But how is there a laser gate that is capable of doing insane damage to humans and capable of destroying devices if passed through? Like, we're not there in technology yet. Deimos has the ability to send out a small drone to be able to find anybody across the map. Believe it or not, we do have access to technology like this. But holograms that are capable of pinging the enemy's location once shot? Like, I don't understand how this is real. Look, not every operators are like that. I say 90% of them fall in the realism aspect, while the other 10% is exactly what I just talked about right now. Which is okay? Sometimes you do need to cut a few quarters, okay? But we're not done. We're not done yet. It's now time to get into the actual gameplay. It's quick for me to mention that I was there from the very beginning of Siege. I arrived on Operation Skullrain in year 1 of Siege. So yeah, like I said, this game is like my life in a bottle. I remember when Tachanka used to have a turret instead of an LMG in hand, when Glassden had an infrared scope, and most importantly, when Thatcher used to be able to destroy every gadget with one EMP grenade, instead of now, he disables them. So yeah, there's been a lot of great changes to help with the balance and tactical realism. Call me crazy, but this game is a masterpiece to my eyes. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna talk about rank, because casual, there's been some changes in casuals that I do not agree with, so I'll talk about rank right now. The game starts off in a very specific way. You start up and you choose which matches to ban, including which operators to ban for those maps. After the choosing is finished, you then go to whatever role you have, which is attacker or defense. I'll start off with attack since that's the more complicated. Attackers are put in the drone phase, where they get to map out the areas they have to go towards and also check on what the defenders are plotting on.
Loading mag!
While in this drone phase, you get to switch out which operatives are best to counter the situation, something that wasn't added back then. After the drone phase is over, you are now given a lot of opportunities to enter whichever way you want. I suppose this is now time for me to talk about the map designs. Back then, all the old maps were somewhat bad because most of them heavily encouraged spawn peeking. If you don't know what spawn peeking is where the defenders get the opportunity to peek through the open barricades and get a kill on somebody that's not paying attention. Old Consulate and Favela was the worst because most of the entrances for the attackers to go through led straight up to a window where the defenders were capable of chucking a C4 or getting an easy headshot on them. But now with the reworked maps, I can now say that many of the maps in this game are pretty fun to play on. Not saying that the old maps were not fun to play on. I mean, on Presidential Plain, only Glaz and Kali were capable of shooting out the windows because they had a high caliber sniper. No operator but them were capable of doing that. It's clear that every building is a two-story building, but what some buildings don't have is a basement area, which is very vital. Most people usually come up with the idea of, oh, if the objective is at the top floor, then why don't we just start off at the top floor? But sometimes you don't have to do that. Nook and Amaru are great for sneaking around because Amaru is capable of grappling on any hatch going from one floor to another. Nook doesn't have that ability, but she has the ability to stay cloaked from cameras, so if you just sneak through the basement area and work your way to the top floor, nobody would expect you to be there.
4 last stop standing.
You can do this with any operative, to be honest, but it's best done with operators that aren't in 3 armor and have the gadget that is appropriate for the situation. And that's another thing about this game. Everything that you bring to the battlefield is very vital for your survival, because you want to use everything at your disposal. And while you're at it, make sure you check those corners, because I'd be finding these guys hiding in the most absurd locations. Even though you are tasked to kill everybody, that's not your primary goal. Your main goal is to defuse the bomb or secure the biohazard container. So as long as you win the objective, you win the round. So you better hope you're the one with the diffuser on hand, because if you don't have the diffuser, then whoever dies in the wrong spot, that's pretty much a GG for the attacking team.
The diffuser is no longer in your possession.
However, you can always change the tides with the certain operators you bring to the battlefield. Ash, Ram, and Zofia are capable of breaching through walls, but if you leave a wall unattended, then a defender could take control over it, and now they have peek holes against your team. In a tight situation with zero cover, have no fear, Montagne with his extended shield can be your mobile cover, but if you're not good enough to kill the attackers or defenders in front of you, then you are in a tight situation. Your whole team is low on health, or one of your teammates are down in a very far location, well then, Finka can be able to revive people that are down and give them 25 health when they're boosted. You see, everything is a battle no matter what you do. Yes, you could open up doorways and hatches to go through them, but if there's a defender watching those doorways and you can't get the kill on them, then what good is that going to do for your team? Sure, Dokkaebi is great at disabling cameras, and if she kills a defender and hack their phone, then she gains access to every camera across the map. But what if every defender is in the bomb room and defending it, and if you can't get in there, then that means she can't hack any camera. So what good is she? Glaz is good at getting kills through his smoke grenades because he has an infrared scope, but his gadget is only for himself, so once he dies, he offers nothing else for the team. Nook is good at sneaking around corridors and stuff, but if every corridor is being locked down by a defender, then what good is she? This is where luck and skill come in, because you could have the right gadget for the situation, but that doesn't always mean it's going to guarantee your success. Sometimes you just have to go in guns blazing and have to have the knowledge to know where your teammates and enemies are at. Just like a real life scenario. On top of that, most of the guns for the attacking team are actually pretty good, although for some reason 3 of our attackers got SMGs. For those of you that don't understand, back then in Siege, defenders were the only ones that get shotguns and SMGs, while the attackers get access to snipers, DMRs, assault rifles, and shotguns. So for some reason they're deciding to switch up the order, but hey, I'll take changes to this. Capitel's LMG is not as heavy as you think, and it actually handles pretty good, even with the ACOG slapped on top of it. Oh, by the way, they finally added back ACOG sights for every gun in the game. Hello R4C ACOG sight. It's been 4 or 5 years since you've been ripped from this game, and it's so good to have you back. Blackbeard has a rifle shield that can be able to be mounted on his gun. However, back then, it was impenetrable. I remember it soaked up a lot of shots and it couldn't break. Nowadays, all it takes is 1 or 2 shots and it breaks off. But luckily, he has 2. The FAMAS used to dominate every game it was in back then, but nowadays it lost its grip, so the recoil control on it is ridiculous. Attackers could use shotguns, but most of the time it's not a good thing because most of the locations you have to go towards are not tight corridors. You usually have to stay from range and pick them off. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have a place on the attacking side. And Glaz's sniper is still good at getting cheap kills with the smoke grenade. The attacking side is probably the most pressure-inducing thing to ever experience in Siege because you have to work on a time limit, you have to make sure that all the operatives are out from the bomb or biohazard container just so you can seize control over it. Although, it doesn't mean that it's impossible to do it, you just need to have enough luck and skill on your side. And even if you die, that's okay, you can always be able to hop on the cameras and keep pinging where the defenders are at for your team to kill. The attacking side is a lot of fun, because you do feel like a police force moving in to clear out terrorists from the building. And with Deimos being on their side, I can definitely tell the gameplay will be a lot of fun.
Last operator standing.
Reloading. Cover me.
Op 4 eliminated.
Alright, moving over to the defending side. To most people's eyes, they're probably just thinking about sitting in a room and just defending it, making sure nobody doesn't walk by. Yes, you could sit in the room and just stare at a wall, but that's not always going to guarantee your success.
Spotted. Op 4 eliminated.
For the defenders, it's a very simple task. Fortify the room they have to defend. This involves reinforcing soft walls, putting up barricades around doorways, or maybe opening up barricades so they can spawn peek. All this is very simple, but the operatives you bring could heavily impact the situation. Castle is really good at barricading doorways because it requires bullets or several hits with your melee to break it down. But now that you blocked out the enemy, you also blocked out your roamers, so if everybody dies on point, the roamers are gonna have to find another way to get inside. You could tear down the castle barricade, but this now gives away your position. Bandit, Cade, and Mute are good at keeping hard breachers off the reinforced walls, but what if there's a Thatcher EMP grenade? If Bandit and Cade doesn't put up another shock wire, then they'll get through the wall, so sometimes they have to stay on point just to make sure they don't get through. Some doorways do lead to your objective, but most of them are being occupied by windows, doorways, or walls that have been opened up by the attackers, so the second best thing to do is to open up rotation holes, and if you want to do that, you're gonna have to bring a shotgun in order to do it. Yep, shotguns do serve a place in this game, like I told you. But please, for the love of God, stop opening up walls that nobody's gonna watch. It just gives the attackers more opportunities to get the jump on us. Just because Pro League does it doesn't mean that you can do it too. It doesn't mean more kills, it means more opportunities to be stupid. Reinforce the room and delay the attacker's time. That's our objective. If you want kills, play Team Deathmatch or go to Call of Duty. Whichever one, I don't care. Sorry for that little outburst. Like I said, defending is not all about sitting in one room and staring at a wall. Sometimes the best defense is an offensive attack.
Op 4, last operator standing.
Luckily for you guys, we have some operators that are built for roaming. Caveira can be able to interrogate anybody that they down. Vigil can be able to stay cloaked from cameras, and Solus can be able to detect electronic devices from anywhere. Even though you have the necessary equipment on hand, you still need two things in order to survive: your eyes and ears to counter the situation. Don't forget, every defender has access to cameras in the facility, so if you don't know if there's an enemy in that location, hop on the cameras and check. But don't stay on the cameras for too long, because then somebody will be right behind you to kill you. Unfortunately, not every camera can be able to hold every position, so if you bring someone like Valkyrie who can throw her cameras in any position, you can keep chokeholds on vital locations. Maestro's Evil Eye is the same thing, except it's also a turret and can see through smoke, so it's more of an offensive advantage. Even though you have enough surveillance on the defending team, sometimes it could be useless because enemy operatives could just rush inside the point and plant the bomb. This is where trap operators come into play. Frost can be able to place up to 3 bear traps around the map, and is best placed under windows because nobody expects to look under when they're hopping through a window. Kapkan's entry denial devices are great for getting cheap kills if anybody's not checking any doorways they're walking towards. Legion is probably the best trap operator because he's really good at catching people that are at low health, but also slowing down the enemy's advances. You see, every operator has its place, and surprisingly enough, every operator is good at their role. But they can't do it all by themselves, unless everybody on the team dies and it's up to one person to clutch it up. With what I listed so far, there is a lot of operators to choose from to help impact the situation. But you can only choose up to 5 operators, so sometimes it comes down to teamwork to make the best plays with your team. And that's the best feature about this game, that even though you can be able to 1v5 a whole team, you still are required to have a team around to make everything possible for you, whether it's hopping on cameras, making rotation holes, or better, just leaving their equipment behind so they can do some of the work for you. Even in death, you're always contributing to the team, and that's the best part about this game. I'm sorry if the video wasn't as funny to you guys, because I was really focusing on making it as serious as possible. Because I love this game. I've always been with this game for a very long time. Never once have I ever deleted it. God, now saying that, I need to go touch some grass. Jeez. Rainbow Six Siege is 100% a fun, tactical, first-person shooter game. And if you ever get tired playing on Bomb, Biohazard Container, or Hostage, then there's always Team Deathmatch. And an added bonus, there's enough operators and maps in the game for you to never lose interest in it. Although, the grind for the operators are pretty long. So you guys better activate those renown boosters, because let me tell you, it is a really long process. However, Rainbow Six Siege has come a very long way, 9 years to be exact. They never had any reverse friendly fire, they never had any banning operatives, nothing like that. It's definitely come a very long way. The team that is working on this game definitely cares, although, like I said, they are losing a little bit of the tactical realism aspect, because what the hell is Master Chief doing in this game? Well, whatever, at least the elite skin is pretty cool. However, Rainbow Six Siege 100% deserves the mark of a masterpiece, because no matter how many times you play this game, you'll never get tired of it, at least for me. Thanks for sticking around this long in the video. I'm going to get started on the next one, which will probably be out in next week or two. And as always, take care, guys.